Hey there, it's Scott of the Pedal Guy. How you doing? You know, one of the questions I'm asked so very often since the announcement of the new Nux Mg is, Scott, how does it compare against this product? How does it compare against that product? And the number one requested comparison that I'm always asked is, how does the new Nux Mg stack up against the Hotone Ampero? And so I thought I might take a few minutes to talk about that. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the differences between the two so that you have a much more informed decision when you're ready to buy one of them. You see, as a dealer, it's a little awkward for me to sway you one way or the other because I have both of them in stock. They're both great products. If I didn't think they were great, we wouldn't have them here. But what I do want to do is I want to help give you a good rundown of the differences between the two so you can make that informed decision and make the decision on the merits of the product rather than me trying to influence you one way or the other. But what I will do in a follow-up video is I will do 4 audio examples between the Hotone Ampero and the Nux Mg where I'll give you a clean sound, an overdriven sound, a distorted sound, and an acoustic sound because they both have acoustic impulse responses. Okay, now let's talk about the differences between the two. Okay, let's talk about price first because I know that this is something that everybody wants to talk about. There is a $100 delta between the two products. Now you can get the Hotone Ampero 1, which is the same price point as the Mg30, and that will give you a toe-to-toe comparison as far as price goes. However, as the Hotone Ampero is more of the flagship and the more popular of the two models, I felt that it might be a bit better if I gave you a reason to think about that $100 price difference. Next, let's take a look at the layout from the top down. Now, taking a look at the Mg30 itself, there are some obvious differences right off the bat. For one, you don't have a fourth foot switch like you do with the Ampero. You do have an additional rotary encoder, which isn't on the Ampero. This is also not a touchscreen interface. So that's something to keep in mind. Additionally, though, on the right-hand side here, you can turn off and on different signal blocks within the signal chain just simply by turning them off and on with the corresponding buttons over here. So that's incredibly handy when you're building a preset with the Mg30. So the Ampero layout is a bit different because you've got 4 foot switches as opposed to the 3 with the Mg30. You also have a lock button here, which is very handy when you're playing live gigs. You have 3 encoders here instead of 4 encoders with the Mg30. But the big, of course, standout feature here is the touchscreen because that's a big deal for sure. Let's take a look at the back of these pedal boards because, of course, the I/O is different. Okay, so looking at the back of the Mg30, you have your input, your auxiliary input, your headphone output, and you also have a send and return. Now, this is unique to the Mg30 when compared to the Ampero. So keep that in mind. You have your left-right output, and you have the ability to add another foot switch. And of course, you may or may not know this, but there is an extra foot switch that comes with the Mg30, so that's kind of a value add there. And then you've got a USB-C port on the back. All right, so looking at the back of the Ampero, you can see some differences here for sure. You've got your expression pedal 2 input here. You've got your input mode selector because the Hotone Ampero works really well with the electric guitar, acoustic guitar, and with line. It also works quite well with bass. So you can plug synthesizers into this if you want to. You've got your balanced outputs on the back, which are XLR. You've got your ground lift switch. You have an input for auxiliary. You have an output for your headphones. You have your unbalanced outputs over here, and you've got your USB port, and you also have a MIDI input as well. Now, one other thing I can also mention is that the Ampero and the Mg30 both have software-based editors. So not only can you do a lot of editing from the actual interface itself, but then you can take it to the virtual world where on Mac or PC, you can edit it even more. Now, when it comes to the processing power of both of these, the good news is that both pedal boards function on a dual processor setup. Additionally, both of these pedal boards have a drum machine and phrase looper inside each. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind, and just to be completely transparent, there are a lot more amps and effects in the Ampero versus the Mg30. There are 64 amps inside of the Ampero versus the 25 that you'll find inside of the Mg30. But do keep in mind that Hotone is going after a slightly different audience, because they're going after not just the guitar players, not just the bass players, but they're also going after the keyboard and synthesizer players, because that's what it was built for, is to be kind of a jack of all trades. However, at the end of the day, if you do want to do a comparison between the two, they list all of the number of effects and amps on both companies' websites. Okay, so that wraps up this video. I hope you found this helpful. I know this was kind of a quick video, and we're just talking about the differences, and I didn't give you any audible examples, but that's okay, because in a follow-up video, I'm going to give you 4. And we're going to do a comparison between the MG30 and the Ampero, so you can hear the differences for yourself and make a much more informed decision. Well, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any further questions, be sure to visit us at thepedalguide.com. But in the meantime, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly videos and tutorials. Thanks for stopping by here at thepedalguide.com, where I love pedals and so do you.